Yo, what it do, man? This is your boy North End Floyd, man, and I got some dope videos we about to react to. It's finna blow your mind. Look, man, I haven't checked out these videos, but you know what I'm saying? People sent me these videos and they look very interesting. I ain't even gonna lie to you. So, man, I ain't finna take y'all time. We finna dig deep, go down this rabbit hole, and we finna see what these videos talking about. We finna see what the government or conspiracy theorists have out there for us. All right. Thank y'all for tapping me in, man. Please like, please subscribe, please share. Let's go.
Billion GMO mosquitoes has begun. They're being released in the Florida Keys as part of a plan to curb mosquito-borne illnesses like dengue, yellow fever, and Zika, and this is the first time they've been released in the US. The British biotech company releasing them is called Oxitec, and they obtained an experimental use permit from the EPA to release the mosquitoes on 6,000 acres across Florida and Texas. But a 2019 Yale University study warned the plan could backfire, creating hybrid mosquito babies that are actually more resistant to insecticides, and this could worsen the spread of the diseases. What could possibly go wrong?
Everybody wants to know where that huge craft is that Ross Coulthart was talking about and where it is located. Well, there's information out here that could possibly be that craft. Now, I'm not saying this is that craft, but if this is true, what this guy is saying, then possibly this is the one that they're referring to. And if this is true, this is the most ultimate news about UFOs I have ever heard in my life. Check this out.
For those of you that don't know, there is a spacecraft that has melted out of the ice in Greenland. As you know, the North Pole has melted completely. You can go from London to Moscow or to Russia by going over the North Pole now. All the ice cap is gone. The last place that has ice on it was Greenland. Greenland had a 18,000-foot ice cap on it. Well, the spacecraft that is anchored in the center of Greenland created the last ice age 50,000 years ago. It's a weather machine. It's 55 miles wide, 300 miles long, and 2 miles high. People that lived in it were called the Mois. If you draw a straight line from the spacecraft to the Washington Monument in Washington, D.C., through the Yucatan Peninsula Great Pyramid at Mitsubishi, it ends up on Easter Island where the Mois have been dug out of the dirt. The heads on Easter Island, well, 2 years ago, they finally went ahead and they excavated, and they're all 65 to 85-foot people, full-body carvings. And these were the people that lived in the spacecraft that was uncovered that's melting out of the ice in Greenland. So when you think we've been alone, these people have been up there for 50,000 years.
Damn.
The spacecraft is still active after 50,000 years. It has a 200-mile dampening field where no electrons can flow into it. In 1947, a B-52 bomber flew into that pattern, into the dampening field, when trying to fly between Maine and London. As a result of that, they lost power and crashed in Greenland. As they sent in rescue B-52 bombers to rescue them, they hit that same dampening field, but they veered off. They just ricocheted off of it. By testing, trying to get to these guys, they were able to bring a circumference and find out that there was an object 200 miles to the center of this field. On the southwest corner of Greenland, there is a small community. It's the only community on the island of Greenland. That community is a military post, CIA, that uses a compressed air generator to operate diesel engines to run a Caterpillar to run back and forth to 200 miles from the base to the object in Greenland. A lot of our technology comes from the reverse engineering out of the spacecraft. It is still functional and is still in operation.
Now, I've heard several stories about this craft. I did not realize that it was that huge. I did not realize that this is probably that craft. I want to credit my friend Pleiadian Indigo for sending me the information on this, because this is absolutely amazing. I'm telling you now that if this is true, I'm pretty positive that this is the craft that Ross Coulthart is talking about. Guys, there's not information on the planet more important than this, if this is true. I mean, this is awesome. It is. Leave your comments. Tell me what you think.
I like that guy's attitude. Hey, what we got here? We got some pictures here. Y'all think it's real or AI? That's wild. think these real?
What advances are needed for humans to be able to colonize another planet like Mars, and will it involve terraforming?
So the answer is that no technological advances are required for us to go and colonize Mars. So visit Mars first and then colonize it. We have the technology now. Mars is the only planet we'll colonize beyond Earth, but it's an easy planet to colonize. It's got water in abundance below the surface, we're sure, or frozen in the ice caps. It's got all the minerals that we need to build a civilization. We have the technology to go and extract the water and turn the water into oxygen and hydrogen for us to breathe and to make rocket fuel, electricity, all the things we need. There's lots of iron there, all the stuff you need to build a civilization. It's actually the only planet other than the Earth that we will ever colonize, I think it's fair to say. If you think about it, Mercury is too hot, Venus is really too hot, and the rest of them are made of gas. So anyone of your generation could walk on the surface of Mars.
But they're a tech system.
Have you ever heard of the red lamp story? It was in 2004, right? It was a guy named Mitch. He was just like a normal costume, a little nerdy. And I guess there was like a football player that used to mess with people, and he was messing with him. The bully knocked him out. But like when that happened, his life kind of was good for him. Like he found his wife, and then they had a daughter, and then he had a great job, a good paying job that he actually enjoyed. So his life was great after he just got knocked out, right? So then one day, right? He came home from work, he sat on the couch, and he looked at the lamp in the corner, and he didn't know what was up with it, and he just stared at that lamp for days. He stopped talking to his family, he stopped talking to his kids, he didn't eat, and he just stared at this lamp because he just said there's something wrong with this lamp. And he realized, like, the lamp is not real. And then when he realized that, a big, like, light went around the room, like blinded him, and he got sucked into a portal, and like he woke up and he was laid there on the floor.
So he had a whole life.
A whole 10-year life with a family, kids, a good paying job in a matter of 4 or 5 seconds.
Well, you know what they say, you die, you live your whole life.
Yeah. So now that's saying, like, what if that's us right now?
The Uranus system
that's crazy
is
right
a
there.
strange system. It's a long way away from
That's
the
wild.
Earth, the mysterious dark frontier
Dude had a whole family.
of the solar system. It's a planet you can see some surface features. It's a blue planet with white high-altitude clouds. And also 4 moons are visible in this VLT image. The image looks odd, though, because the moons are aligned vertically. The planet appears to be tipped up on its side, and that's because it is. That's one of the most mysterious things about Uranus. It orbits the sun with its poles leading the way. But there are very powerful winds there. The winds at the equator move at 200 miles per hour, but in the opposite direction to its spin. Very strange. But as you move up through the tropics towards the poles, the winds reverse direction and blow in excess of 500 miles per hour.
I wonder, Ross, Elon Musk, I want you to react to him real quick. He was speaking earlier this week, the Milken Institute, big event, and I want to get your thoughts on the other side.
I've not seen any evidence of aliens, and SpaceX with the Starlink constellation has roughly 6,000 satellites, and not once have we had to maneuver around a UFO.
What would you say?
Okay, there was a delicious scandal in England in the 1950s, Blake, when a young woman was accused of having an affair with a British politician, and he categorically denied it. And Mandy Rice Davis said, well, he would say that, wouldn't he? And let's be honest about it, if Elon Musk had been briefed into a UFO crash retrieval program, and if he had been told by the Defense Department that his SpaceX contract was dependent on keeping it secret, I'm sure he would keep it secret. I am told, in fact, I've been told, not necessarily officially, but I've been told by people who are aware of what Elon Musk and SpaceX are up to, that he has been read into parts of the program. But at the moment, he's taking the position he's taking. Let's see how long that lasts for.
Essentially, after World War II, the Allies go in and they find all these blueprints for what they call the wonder weapons. And one of these blueprints, some of them had to do with stuff called Die Glock, which translates to the bell. They've never found it, but there's an interesting through line with maybe that could potentially be the acorn-shaped UFO that landed in Pennsylvania, I think it was. One of them, called Haunebu craft, were traditional looking flying saucers. And these were craft that the Nazis were apparently working on and theoretically had working models of. And so it all revolved around, they think the Die Glock was the propulsion system for the craft itself. And it would kind of just sit in the center, because Die Glock was like this bell-shaped object that apparently had anti-gravity properties. And apparently when you put some type of charge in it, it started levitating, and people also thought that it could warp gravity fields enough to where it maybe could potentially time travel.
8 billion people
are being controlled by 100 families.
Who are these families?
These are the elite oligarchs that control the planet. They literally run us. They tell us what to do, hear, see, smell, taste, touch, feel, where we can go, where we can't go. They're running us. The governments are put in place to work for the people, but they got it flipped and they got us working for them.
Right.
And telling us what they're going to do to us if we don't listen to them. That's the opposite of what it's supposed to be. The reason why the world it is today, why we have this boot on our neck, it's because of us. We're the problem. They're sharks. A shark smells blood, a shark attacks.
Right.
A shark is going to be a shark. How come we as 8 billion people haven't stopped falling for these divide and conquer tactics and stopped fighting each other over the scraps and realize who the real enemy is? While we're fighting each other, they're just cutting up the pie and laughing at us. Left wing, right wing, all the same bird. There's no such thing as a Democrat or Republican. The only thing that does exist, like I say, is a group of elite oligarchs that torture men, women, and children worldwide. That exists. Democrat and Republican doesn't exist.
In the oceans. That's how you get to the outer realms. So the real outer space is beyond the Antarctica and deep within our oceans. That's why if you look at their outer space missions, they're actually in water, floating around in water somewhere in Las Vegas, Nevada, and deep in the Colorado. They ain't out of space. That's why if you look, it's so many people now putting up showing that these space shuttle missions is fake as hell, man. Showing you that they ain't never been out of space. If you really want to go outer space, get your ass on a submarine and go deep within the water. That's the true outer space. And there's so many different alien bases and military bases underwater and in the actual ground. They're hollowing out mountains now. They're hollowing out mountains. You can Google this, and they're making inside of mountains underground bunkers and underground military bases. So if they're doing that to the mountains, imagine what they're doing underground in space, in the water. So if you want to go outer space, go deep sea diving.
You said it's aliens.
Yeah, aliens. And all alien mean is, so Elion is a Hebrew word. That's where they get aliens from. It's really El Elyon. And that just means of the Most High God. Technically, we are aliens. And that's why they studying us. That's why they stealing our melanin. That's why they trying to understand the functioning of our biological vehicles. That's why they can't understand our circadian rhythm, our biological clocks. We are the most different species of humans that the planet ever had. We're so different than them. Our teeth are shorter than theirs. Their teeth are wider and longer. Their canines are longer than our canines. Their hydrochloric acid inside their stomach is hotter than ours.
You talking about white people?
I'm talking about white people. They produce a acidic enzyme in their mouth. We produce an alkaline enzyme in our mouth called amylase and amylose and trypsin. They can break down proteins and meats. Our stomachs can't break down proteins and meats because the pepsin and the hydrochloric acid doesn't get hot enough to break it down. They digestive system can go through something called putrefactions, or can't. Ours go through something called fermentation. A lot of them grow tails. Their hair grow towards the earth or towards the ground. It curls and it grows towards the sun. We have high melanin content. Inside of our melanin, we have something called selenium. They have low melanin content. Inside their melanin, they have something called ammonia. And they have a high sulfur concentration inside their cells. And that's why when they get hot, when it get hot outside, they get colder, or if it get cold outside, they get hotter. That's why you can see a white man running in Daisy Duke shorts in the middle of the winter when it's 20 below freezing. He got on a tank top and he hot.
That'd be crazy.
Or when they get hot and they get around water, it changes and the sulfur mixed with ammonia and it gives off this actually canine smell. And that's why they say they smell like wet dogs. You see, this is all scientifically proven.
What in
Okay.
There's not a single writing left behind from Atlantis. They didn't do cuneiform writing in the stones. They probably had paper and they probably had digital records.
Digital.
The reason I say that is that we've found some really weird artifacts in the Mediterranean over the last 100 years. There was an artifact found off of Greece that has mechanical components in it that don't make sense.
This is the one Michio Kaku talked about. This was down at the bottom of the Mediterranean.
That's it.
Around 1900 or so, there was a shipwreck off the coast of Greece, and divers found an instrument encrusted in coral. It looked like a piece of junk. But when they cleaned it, they realized, no, it's a machine that is 2,000 years old. And then they took x-rays of it, and they realized it's a computer. My God, a computer. Think a computer that was supposed to be a gift to Julius Caesar. But the ship sunk.
Damn.
Beneath the surface of the moon, 30 meters deep, there's structures that they can't explain. Looks like gigantic steel beams. What are those doing there? You know the history of the moon as well. When they crashed one of the capsules into the moon, it rang like a bell for hours. You know, meaning it's hollow. So there's something going on with the moon, something really suspicious. And one last thing before we go around it, when you talk about the one of the missions that went to orbit the moon, I think it was Apollo 10, they were seeing if they can just complete an orbit and come back to Earth first before they landed. When they got to the back side of the moon, which we call the dark side, the comms are off naturally because the moon is blocking comms from Earth. But when the comms went down, somebody hacked the comms and was playing this music, which they thought they said it was kind of like spiritual music. And you can listen to the black box audio. All the astronauts in the capsule panicked and said, "Who's that? Where's that? Where's that sound coming? Where's that music coming from?" They panicked. And it played until they got right back around into comms range again, and then the comms connected back to Houston.
Wow. Yeah. So there could be life on the dark side of the moon.
I believe so.
Man. Hey, man. Like I said, man, from the mosquitoes to what he just said, the dark side of the moon, to Julius Caesar receiving a computer 2,000 years ago. Come on, man. Hey, just something for you to think about, man. Something you open your eyes up to, man, because like I said, who knows what they've been lying to us about, man. And you can't believe everything the government has been feeding us, all right? Because some of that shit ain't good for you, all right? So, man, look, man, y'all have a great day. Y'all have a great week. Y'all have a great year. Continue liking, sharing your boy's video, man. And we go keep going down this rabbit hole together, man. All right? I'm going to holler at y'all. I'm going to see y'all later, all right? Peace.